You mentioned safety at the beginning, and that leap when you left the corporate career felt a bit like, yeah, we're giving up safety, right? I think many of us can relate to that. What gives you safety now, or where did you find safety again after, what changed in your life?
Good question. Wow. Powerful insight. And I would answer that so differently at that moment versus now with hindsight and with my evolution over the last 7 years since that jump. It's like in the moment when I leapt, what helped, and sometimes when I'm coaching, what I see helps because I can see the kind of paralysis that the mind and body goes into is like things that helped. I said, 6 months. You've got a 6-month runway. I'd put some money in an account. So I had some savings, not that much to be fair, but at the time it felt like a lot. I don't know what I thought I was going to do with that. But anyway, it was enough for me to feel like, hey, I've got a little runway. So I gave myself that, sometimes I think our brain goes so extreme, like I'm going to step off this and then everything's going to fail and nothing will ever be the same. And it's like, actually, I was like 6 months. If I do 6 months and I fall flat on my face, like nothing takes off and it really doesn't go where I think, I can literally just apply to be a lawyer again and I'm sure someone will take me. The funny thing is when I say that now, I'm like, I don't know if anyone would take me anymore. I'm like 7 years out, like that's a very different perspective now. But at that time, it brought me so much peace to just say, hey, like 6 months, give yourself a shot. Give yourself a go, back yourself. Worst case, it really helped just narrow that kind of raging inner critic fear part of the brain. So I think, sometimes worst case does help. I don't like to do it too much because it's like you are focusing on the worst case. And so, but it did help just, okay, that's all right. And meditation was huge and visualization because I'm trained in NLP master and hypnotherapy and lots of I love different modalities. Yeah. And so I understand the importance of where you focus your energy in your brain and visualization, because a lot of us, when we feel fear and anxiety, we're subconsciously focusing on a reality we don't want to occur. So you've got to learn how to tame that mind and get that to go where you want it to go. It's a focused energy and intention. So every day I would use my own hypnosis tools and scripts, and I would write my vision scripts and I would practice them to keep my mind and my subconscious focused on the outcome I was creating, which was visualizing speaking, podcasting, or, running programs. Like it was visualizing the life I have now, but it was really focusing on it. And that was such a great practice because it would help me when I would wake up and feel confused with what to focus on and scared and what am I doing again. It would just anchor me. This is what we're doing. This is what we're creating. The body and the brain don't know the difference between reality and perceived reality. So the power of that practice is your body viscerally starts to respond as if that's your reality. And it's not yet. Like that's something you've created in your mind, but your body starts to respond that way. They've done scientific studies where they had someone actually playing the piano and then someone pretending to play the piano. And they were like, it was only 10% difference of the performance. It's like, what? That was pretend. Wow. So you literally create muscle memory, and that was just a game changer for me because I didn't have any evidence as to why. I'm from this tiny town in New Zealand. I was a lawyer. Like, why did I think I could do that? Because I mentally rehearsed it. A lot of athletes use it. So those things were great in that time. Over the years now, I'd say I still use a lot of visualization, but the nervous system regulation has become a huge part of now how I build safety in my body. That's not something that was as researched or as prominent when I transitioned. It was around, but it wasn't as understood as it is now. But now I can understand how do I get myself regulated, and in that sense of what's called your window of tolerance, so I can feel safe and grounded in my body and then take action. I think originally I would do my mental rehearsal. It would get me just to a regulated point. But now creating safety, if you can get yourself regulated, that's your number one place. From that space, you're more creative, more resilient, more grounded. So that's now a huge tool. And I tell our clients, just if you're dysregulated and your nervous system's offline, no action, do nothing except get regulated. We've got these little quotes. But first, regulate.
Do nothing. I just need to write that because I think it's a challenge in today's world, right? I mean, how is that for yourself? How easy is it for yourself to do nothing? And then maybe also your clients. But yeah, if we zoom in back on you for a bit, your personal experience with that. Is that something you like, to do nothing? Or
Oh gosh, such a journey. No, I'm like a classic type A. I love active relaxing and doing. And so my first few years as an entrepreneur, I tried to work and operate like kind of the way I did as a lawyer. Just go. Let's get this thing done. And I burnt out. My health really started to take a toll. My relationships, I found myself just one day in the server room. I absolutely broke down in tears. I was like, I cannot keep going this way. And the stress and the cortisol and the adrenaline in my body, it was just had built up so much from the first couple of years. And that for me was a really big moment. And the first time I realized like, if I don't get this under control, this pattern, then I don't think I'm going to be able to keep being an entrepreneur. Because to truly make this work, I have to learn how to do this sustainably, not like both feet on the accelerator. And there's a lot at stake. Like when you know what you love, you know what you want to do with your life, that's a lot to say if you don't, so it really forced me to start to look at this pattern and this overdrive pattern and learn how to rest. I actually did a Forbes feature all around rest as your superpower. Like it is one of the skills that I had to learn. No, I didn't like it. Like when my coach would say, schedule 4 hours of white space in your calendar and just see what you discover. I was like, excuse me, do what? And then it's funny now because talking to you today when you said, how was your day? I was like, wow, so spacious. I had a couple of calls and then I came to the podcast. It's like, that's a very different version of me even 5 years ago. So I really struggled to do nothing, let's say. But I also really learned that true rest was what was going to propel my career, my well-being, my enjoyment of life. And it became like a masterful skill. Like I actually got like obsessed with how do you rest and rejuvenate truly, because I was like a half rester, like lying down watching Netflix, but kind of doing something. Like it's not rest. Like so, it was really learning like what does switching off actually look like? What does white space in the calendar look like? Integrating what I call decompression time. So between all activities that I do through my day now, I have this decompression moment to get my nervous system back online, get the cortisol down, and then we go again. And so I learned how to like actually move through my life with more grace and groundedness. Not saying I'm perfect, just want to clarify I can still be a lot, but it's such a skill. And I think a lot of us more digitally connected, we are really struggling, and it's a lot for our system to be always on. Learning it, adding as a skill, learning how to master it, it creates what we call sustainable success. There's no other way. Otherwise, unfortunately, a lot of people burning out.